Okay, so I'm not an atheist or a theist. Um, so I just want to get that out there. I'm not for or against any side. I'm just kind of like having my own conscious experience here on planet Earth. What I mean by conscious experience is I believe that consciousness moves through and permeates and animates things that have the, if you want to call it, nervous system, brain. In order, to the brain is like this antenna or this amplifier for the consciousness which is moving through everything. Um, my brain then picks up on that, and I'm able to perceive, be aware of qualia. Qualia are like the blues. What is blue? Blue is, it's the color of the sky. It's the ocean. It's a taste. It's a smell. It's not just a color, basically. We all do this in life. We have a memory of something. We think of a person, but then we might have that memory when we see a color or a leaf or something. So it's rather fascinating how that works. So anyway, my fingernail has consciousness moving through it, but my fingernail doesn't have the amplifier of the brain that my head does, because that my finger is not a sentient being; it's part of a sentient being. But so there's consciousness moving through everything, inanimate stuff, but the inanimate stuff doesn't have the ability to amplify it in order for the inanimate thing to have a true conscious experience. To be able to make friends, to be able to speak, to be able to see depth, life, colors, smells, just the stuff that makes life life. So anyway, why I want to say this is I want to say I was thinking about just religion in general and a philosophical approach to it, and I was thinking about religion and how what do people call sins, and to me it seems a little strange to me. If somebody were saying like lust is a sin, well, I don't view it as sin. I think it's your biological drive to procreate, to spread your seed. I don't think that when somebody says, "Oh, it's some deity thing," but I think that somebody might say that with male on male, let's say in a gay partner relationship, somebody might say, "How is that spreading the seed?" But if they can adopt a child, that's furthering the human race. I think that's just how our consciousness is evolving. I understand it's a very liberal thought. I don't judge people that are LGBTQs. It's not my thing. Why I say this is somebody might say, well, lust towards another man, if you're a man, or girl towards a girl is sinful. I don't view it as that. I think you're still honoring life because you're taking part of in love, the conscious act of coitus, or just a relationship with another. You're entering into something which is amazing. But I don't view it as sin. I think why things in the past got called sins is because it only became a sin when it gave you an STD, and then you put yourself, I think heaven and hell are states of consciousness. So it only gave you, it only became a sin when it puts you in, hell because you had an STD, and that's where the term, the saying, if someone's going through hell comes from. Somebody decided to be a drug addict. Oh, they're going through hell, and a lot of people would be like, well, they put themselves there. They screwed up. It's like, so somebody might see it as sin like that. It's easy to see it as something bad in that light, but it's not really, something that you should be, worried about. I don't think. I'm not trying to sound sacrilegious or insult anybody's belief. That's not my thing. I'm not anti-Christ or anti-Christian or really anything. I know it sounds weird, but I just think if people screw up, then they deal with the consequences. Gluttony could be like, you ate so much, is it sinful? Why that would be considered sin? Why that word kind of stuck with certain things? It's because if you think in the past, if you had a village with 30 pounds of grain, and you had one guy that ate 10 pounds, and there's 30 people in the village, we could demonize that action. Hence the term demonized too, and it's synonymous with sinning. It's not an actual demon or an actual sin. They're just words which help kind of regulate people's, in the past, help regulate people's, certain processes which might not be good for the group. Which could lead to, then there's not enough grain for the rest of the group, when the snow falls or when the animals move and they have to go and be a Bedouin or hunter-gatherer type tribe. Go after the animals. There's not going to be like food stores to do certain things. So anyway, what I'm saying this is like, it just seems kind of strange to me that certain things would be synonymous as being, dark or evil. And the only reason people say that is if you overeat, it then becomes sinful. It puts you in hell when you have to go to the hospital and then your family have to take care of you, pay your bills. Everybody's stressed out and in anxiety because of having to do that. Wrath. A lot of people say, "What about wrath?" Wrath is like one of those things that somebody can take, and then instead of actually being mad at somebody, you can just take that anger and go do 100 push-ups, push your anger into that. But I think wrath can make us think of our relationships with people. But in the past, it would be seen as, imagine if you had 10 people in a village, or 15 or 20 or 30, you wouldn't want people to be at each other's throats because that's a small village. That's like, you're on a spaceship, the ISS, or I know it's down here now, I think. But, wouldn't want 10 people fighting. It's like that's your neighbor, basically. You're going to see them every day. So it had to be demonized, turned into sin, seen as evil, so that people thought it was this bad thing. Now think of generations of that evolving in our mind, our consciousness, and people thinking it's normal to keep the peace, to call things sin. And then it's like it can't be demonic because who's calling it sin? If it's one side that's claiming to be good, then how is it demonic? It's only demonic to the one side claiming to be good that's trying to enforce the rules. It's not demonic to the people that like to overeat because they make the money to overeat and because they go to the gym every day, and it doesn't matter if they do overeat. Where do you draw the line with gluttony? It's like, or wrath, or these certain things. Wrath can be bad if you, excuse me, I switched topics there. Wrath can be bad if you punch somebody, and you go to prison, you go in there for 10 years, then it's it's very bad. Think how much your family would have to help you, or if you didn't have family, how much you'd have to do, help yourself, and that could put you in a self-imposed personal hell, this lower state of consciousness, rather than the higher states of consciousness, which is very liberating. But it's just an idea. I'm not like, again, my viewpoints are pretty liberal. I'm not like against anybody's belief structure. I'm just trying to put some stuff out there, which is kind of just a different thought on things, because somebody was asking me about certain things the other day. So, because I was talking about some sort of state of consciousness, and somebody was getting very, if I believed in sin or not. And in this day and age, it just seems like it was something maybe that it played a part of regulating certain things for years, and that helped create a state of normality within stuff. But now that stuff has been regulated, it's no need to really see that stuff as that, other than it plays a certain cultural role within certain groups in society to help regulate what certain groups view as cultural norms within, a closed system, basically. A lot of belief structures are closed systems. When you enter into them, what's seen as sin to the closed system, when you step out of it, isn't seen as sin anymore. So you have to be careful about what systems you're getting in, you're going in. Anyways, the thing about, basically all of them can be seen as things in the past which were used to police small groups. But then, you have to, that's relative to the past when people had, there was not a glut of information, of food, of, resources for jobs. You can't just like dial something and get it delivered to you, or go get a new job tomorrow if you don't like the one you're at. It was very like, everything was very rigid, like you saw your friends die when they're really young. So when you think about that, it was easier to demonize it and call it sinful and kind of almost scare people straight to keep them on the straight and narrow. The old saying, like, why is the path that leads to destruction, whatever it is. Well, that's kind of how it was, It's like if one person did something in a group of 30, that'd probably be bad for, for the group, especially if it was an influential person. You really want to be careful with, what you're saying is okay within, a group. Anyway, it's just a thought.